new G1s. So although I don't have them in test, I will say right now that when they said, "Oh, new G1s are coming," Rusty and Grapple, I was sat in the car driving to football. That was my reaction, and then obviously he forgot the other three, so they took a bit of a break, and then he came back and he said, "Rusty and Scavenger, Grapple and Dirtbag, Sludge and Straxus." I went, "Ooh." That's exactly the actual sound that I made. I went, "Ooh." Then he went Rook and Block. I'm like, "Wow, yes." And then Sandy and Octane as well. I was like, "Wow." I really want Rook and Block, Sandy and Octane. I really want to see their G1s. Could be absolutely epic. I think the problem is Rusty and Scavenger are actually pretty decent already. All they need is a range increase. That's it, really. That's all their G1 needs. If they had the same range as Skids, I'd be pretty impressed with that. We put Skids and Rust Dust here. So what have they got? Yeah, they're alright. So there, put them both there. So straight away, look, there's Skids. There's Rust Dust, Skids, Rust Dust, Skids, Rust Dust. So you can't get the full effect of Rust Dust. And she's a scout, so she gets in trouble, as you can see there. I mean, she has got spell spots for fair, but you can see there that to get the same range, she needs to go out front, getting in trouble. So for me, all the G1 needs to do is just give her a range increase and maybe something to support her in some way. Yeah, job done. I think that'd be an easy fix for Rusty and Scavenger. Grapple and Dirtbag, I think they're really going to struggle. I'm not a big fan of Grapple. I did sort of, when he came out, I liked the idea, but when it came out, I was pushing for the. I sort of said that he's a poor man's Rook. I think that's. I'm not sure that's the exact phrase, but I just said, why would I go for this guy when I can go for Rook? When I've got Rook. And then this is before even the 5-star version, the 4-star version. And I said that the mine needs to last longer. When I sort of judged it, the Hollow of Rook, at the highest level of the game at that time, tend to last around 8 seconds. So I was like, why go for this? This doesn't pop out pulse and it lasts only 10 seconds. So for me, I think the G1 for Grapple needs to make that mine last a lot longer. I would go as far as saying maybe 15, 20 seconds. Absorbs damage, so it's like a hollow in effect. It attracts defenses. After 10 seconds, it if destroyed, explodes in an area. So yeah, I just think that they need to just increase the duration, increase damage. Job done. Very easy fix for him. And if he ever gets a 5-star version, we can then look at the cost maybe as well. But he actually does decent damage, but it's just the 10 seconds. It's not very good. And again, he's a special bot. He's not a warrior like Rook, so he didn't get them sort of shields and stuff like that. So ability 11 can maybe help his help his survivability maybe in some way. But yeah, I like the idea of it. I did like the idea of the ability. I just don't think it's quite there. So I think that'd be an easy fix for Grapple and Dirtbag. Just a increase in duration, a bigger increase in damage or something like that. Then we've got Sludge and Straxus. I think the problem with Sludge and Straxus is I spoke earlier about making a bot do something very well, and the problem with Sludge and Straxus is not Sludge and Straxus, if that makes sense. The problem with Sludge and Straxus is walls are pretty awful right now and are pretty useless. I sort of started making a time trap, and when I went through it, it didn't slow me down at all. Walls are like butter. They're just used to path. No one really uses walls anymore to really slow people down. They just use them to path in strange places and splits. So I think the problem with Sludge is they need to give him a wall buster, basically, as his G1, and something else. But I'm struggling. This is the bot I was struggling with the most in terms of what they need to give him. And you can say, oh, give him more damage, but it doesn't matter because he's still got to hit a wall. I think maybe that's the problem, maybe that he only hits a wall and that's it. But he does that really well, but then walls are useless. I think they need to address walls. Once they address walls, I think Sludge and Straxus will really come into the forefront. I really do. But when it will happen, I've been banging on about this since HQ17, saying walls not good enough. Since the release of HQ18, or even in testing HQ18, I said then that walls are not got enough HP. And even then, that was pretty much ignored. And I said, no, we're happy where it is. And so that's why we're not seeing walls utilised. You know, when you play Clash of Clans, all the walls are really encased in and defensive behind it, and it slows you down, forces you to get more damage. And just doesn't do that. So really struggling for Sludge and Straxus, but it's got to be a wall buster as a minimum, and then something else to give him a bit of an edge. But what? Who knows? And then Rook and Blot. I mean, Rook and Blot are already pretty good. They don't need much. Am I going to take Quintus off Rook for a G1? Probably not. I don't think they're going to bring out a G1 that pumps Sharks out. They're not going to try and combat Prime Cores. So I don't think we're going to see a sort of Micronus with something else. If they do, it'd be a watered down Micronus. So if you have Micronus on Rook, I don't think you swap Micronus for his G1. If you've got Quintus on Rook, I don't think you swap Quintus for his G1. So he's already got a shield, you know. So it's a bit hard what to give Rook really as part of his G1. Because he's already a really good bot. And so this is the worry though sometimes, that when a bot is really good, they get a bit of a crappy G1 because they're so good. Whereas the bots that are pretty crud get a really good one because they can. So that's why I feel at the minute the grapples were really good, his G1. Whereas Rooks will be a bit nah. And then last, Sandy and Octane. I love Sandy and Octane since they're both late last year, mid last year. But never quite got in my war team simply because I don't know. He's not expensive anymore. I always said he was expensive, that's why. But he does good. He does good healing, does good rushing in. He has a shield, good range. So Sandy's actually really, really good. I think they could probably increase the damage rather than the healing, because I think that the damage only does, like I said, 2-6-2-0 rather than the 4-8. What the healing does, they didn't double the damage. So I feel like I would either like that. Oh, you know what I would really like? I would like 2 G1s, like they did with Huffer. I think it would be really cool to drop 2 G1s out. I know some people complain about watering down the G1 pool, but the thing I like about that is, again, I always say this, and I say it lots and lots of times, I like a bit of choice. The more choice, the better. Because how I play with Sandstorm, you might not play with Sandstorm. I might play with a bit different. And so bringing out a G1 that does X, I might want him to do Y. And so I look at it and go, yeah, that G1's rubbish. Where someone else might go, yeah, it's pretty good. So you're sort of only maybe keeping half the audience. Where if you're doing 2 G1s, one's for damage, one's for healing or support. And then in that way, I mean, that's what most triple changes do. One's for damage, one's for support. So if they bring out a damage G1 and a support G1, then you can sort of choose how you want to use Sandstorm. So I'm all for that. I hope they do bring out 2. One for his Toxic Rush and one supply airdrop. And I'd be quite happy with that. Whether they want to increase the healing, it's already at 5k over 10 seconds. So if you do that in a rush in, that's also 10k healing. It's quite a lot over 10 seconds. Is it a lot though? I don't know. Can they increase it? Can they make it 5 seconds? Yeah, 10k over 5 seconds. I think it's a lot better. Maybe a G1 just halves the duration. Down to 5 seconds. Maybe and then the Toxic Rush maybe doubles the damage. Dead simple. But yeah, I'm hopeful that we get some good G1s out of this. I can see a lot of the bots, apart from Rook and Blot, getting really good G1s. Not too sure about Rook and Blot. But yeah, look forward to it. See what's coming out. Stay tuned to this channel, guys, as always. And I'll be covering them as soon as I can, which should be over the next few weeks. So stay tuned.